Good morning, dear students. Hello, everyone. We have been doing this poem. Yesterday, we completed two stanzas of this poem. Went to the sessions of Sweet and Silent Thoughts, written by William Shakespeare. As you know, it is a sonnet of 14 lines containing or consists of three quatrains and a couplet. So, here in this poem, we have seen in the two stanzas that the poet is reflecting, reminding himself on the past memories in silence. And he laments on many things which he desires now to have, or that he could not get them. And we also know that all our wishes that we have cannot be fulfilled. So, when we are unable to fulfill our desires, we feel regret. And then we get full of sorrow. So, here the poet is recollecting his past, and his heart and his mind is filled with sorrow when he reminds about those things which he could not get. Then we have seen that he reminds about his own friend who was untimely died. Death came to him untimely. That is, he was not of the proper age to die, but he died very young. So, here, when the poet remembers his own friend, his heart is again filled with sorrow, and he wants to weep again over the pain of many faded memories that are concerned and related to his friend. He says that tears come into his eyes when he thinks about his friend who were untimely eaten up by the death. So, death has stolen away his dear friends from him untimely, and therefore, whenever he recollects, whenever he thinks about them, his heart is filled with sorrow and tears come down into his eyes. So the poet is here mourning and groaning and sighing for all those things which are no more there and for which he desires to have or that he had in the past. So this is what we have seen in the two stanzas. Now come to the stanza number 3 of this poem and then the couplet. So this is what I speak here. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woo to woo tell over the sad account of poor bemoaned mourn, which I knew pay as if not paid before. So this is the third stanza or the third quatrain of this poem. 4 lines. Let's see. Then can I grieve? Grieve means here weep. So then can I weep at grievances foregone, at the losses of his former friends who are no more there, which took place in the past, which happened in the past. So can he weep again at the losses of his former friends or sorrows which took place in the past? And heavily from woo to woo tell over, or that is his heart is very heavy heart. From one sorrow to another, his heart is filled with, when he recollects the past sorrows, his heart is filled with one sorrow to another. And therefore, he says that he wants to weep again on the sorrows, on the sufferings of the past. the sad account of poor Bemoan Mon. For Bemoan Mon means here the sorrow which has already been felt. Ki although the sorrow has been already felt by him, but here he is again weeping for them. He wants to weep again for those sorrows. He wants to put again that sad account, that sufferings of the past again. Because he feels that if the tribute, if the feelings for those sorrows have not been paid yet, that is, he feels that he should weep again for those sorrows, and in that way he would be able to pay a tribute for those things, those sufferings and sorrows which were the part of his past. That is, he wants to weep again over the losses of his life, his past. That is, the losses of dear friends, losses of so many dear things. So he wants to put an account of those sufferings, those sorrows of past for which he wants to weep again. So the poet, when he recollects his past, his heart is filled with sorrows and pains again. And he wants to weep. Why? Because he does not have those things now. Because he wants those things, those friends now again. And they are not more there. Upon we कई बार whenever we recollect our past, whenever we recollect our belongings, our relatives, our familiars who are no more there, when we recollect them, our heart, our tears are also filled with sorrows and tears. So, because we are the human beings, so when we recollect the past memories, definitely our eyes are filled with tears and our heart is filled with grief. So the same thing is here happening with the poet. When he is recollecting those past things, he is sad. Again he is sad. And again he is weeping for all those things. Okay? So here poet says that he bewails the loss of things and friends swallowed by death in the past. So he is weeping. Bewailing means weeping. He wants to weep for for the loss of those things and friends which were taken away from him by death in the past. And at this thought, his heart is, his eyes are filled with tears. And their memory makes him weep afresh again. So the memory of his past friends, memory of his past things, again instigate him, excites him, again makes him to weep, to wail. And the bereavement of old dead friends comes to him as if they have expired just now. और उन सब मित्रों का दुख जो इस दुनिया से चले गए, पोइट को ऐसे लगता है कि एज इफ दे हैव डाइड जस्ट नाउ, कि जैसे वो अभी अभी एक्सपायर हुए हैं, ऐसा उसको फील होता है व्हेन ही रिकलेक्ट्स अबाउट देम. And therefore, with a heavy heart, he recounts his past losses. Heart is heavy because he does not have those things, those friends. But he is putting here the account of the past, of his losses, of his sufferings. And it appears to him as if he is repaying a past debt which was not paid before. That is, it seems to him that he did not weep for all these things in the past, and now he is weeping again for all those things. That is, the debt, कर्ज जो कि पहले नहीं चुकाया गया, उसको वो अब चुका रहा है, ऐसा उसको लग रहा है, क्योंकि उसका हृदय पुनः फिर से जो है कि दुख से भर गया है. सेम feeling, same suffering, same sadness has come into his heart. So here in this stanza, the poet has used imagery. That is, we have the money related terms and the words which create the money imagery. That is, expense, grievances, account, paid, losses. These all are the phrases which are related to money. And tellover, the phrase tellover is an accounting expression, as we see the modern bank teller. जो टेलर होता है, संगणक जिसको बोलते हैं, बैंक में काम करता है. So an image of the narrator reconciling a balance sheet of his former woes and likening them to debt that he can never pay off in full. तो ऐसे लगता है जैसे नैरेटर जो स्पीकर है उसके ऊपर पहले का कर्ज है और वो उसको अभी उतार नहीं पा रहा है. दिस इज वॉट ही वॉन्ट्स टू कन्वे थ्रू these lines. Okay, now come to the last two lines of this stanza. This is the couplet, 2 lines. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. So here we have the conclusion of the above thought. The thought that took place in the 3 stanzas, now we have the conclusion of that thought. And what is the conclusion? Here the poet says कि whenever he thinks over past griefs, past losses, the thought of his friend comes to him or comes to his mind. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, so whenever I recollect the past, oh my dear friend, you come into my mind. That is, I begin to think about you, and you are also no more there, my dear friend. So addressing to his own friend, here the poet or the speaker says कि whenever I recollect the past things, past losses and sufferings, the idea or the thought of yours come into my mind. That is, I begin to think about you. And then what happens? That is, remembering the friend, remembering his own friend, dear friend, what happens to the poet? The poet says, or the speaker says, that all losses are restored and sorrows end. तो कि सारे जो लॉसेज हैं वो सब रिस्टोर्ड हो जाते हैं, मानी ख़त्म हो जाते हैं. जितने भी जो कष्ट या जो हानि हुई है वो वापस लाभ में आ जाती है और सभी सोरोज का एंड हो जाता है. दैट इज मेड एंड ऑल इज सोरोज आर ओवर. सारे उसके जो कष्ट हैं वो दूर हो जाते हैं. तो व्हेन एवर ही reminds and recollects his past losses and sufferings about his friends come into his mind. He begins to think over his friend, and whenever he thinks about his friend, all his losses, past losses, they are disappeared. That is, they are made up. वो सब अरेंज हो जाते हैं. सारी जो नुकसान हुआ है वो वापस पुनः प्राप्त हो जाता है लाभ में. और देयर इज द एंड ऑफ ऑल सफरिंग्स एंड सोरोज which are disturbing and perturbing, distorting the mind. So this is how here the poet is again immortalizing his dear friend, as well as the importance and utility of his friend. That his friend is an immortal, and it is the idea of the friend, it is the thought of the friend that gives him relax, even in the present sufferings and sorrows. The thought of his friend gives him relax. This is what the poet wants to convey through this poem. So in this way, he says that the poet pays his friend the handsome compliment. So the compliment is to his friend. He is thankful to his friend that because of his memory, his all sorrows and sufferings are disappeared, and his mind and heart get relaxed. So the thought of his friend is so refreshing that he has only to think of his friend. So he has to just think of his friend. That makes him so refreshed that all the losses are gone, that all the sufferings are gone, and his sorrows are over. So he has to only think of his friend, then all his miseries and losses are forgotten. सब कुछ भूल जाता है. जैसे ही मित्र को याद करता है, मित्र को याद करने पे सारी परेशानियां दूर हो जाती. तो यहाँ जो पोइट है, who is very much grateful to his friend. Okay, dear students, this is what we have tried to understand this sonnet. I hope you have well understood it. You have also understood and come to know about the poet William Shakespeare, because it is the first time that you have been introduced with William Shakespeare and his work through the poetry, that is the poem. And I am also sure that you will enjoy the works written by William Shakespeare in your future coming classes. So for now, thank you very much, and we will meet again with the new poem that is prescribed in your syllabus. Bye bye, thank you.